Hello, hello. This is Coach McCarthy. So on 7.1, we talked about our budget, two, maintaining our financial records, and three, manage our online accounts. So number four, talking about how do we contest incorrect bills? So you got a bill and it doesn't look right. So how are you going to go about fixing that? So let's click on our link here. So protecting against billing abuse. Catch a billing mistake. Always check on subsequent bills to make sure you're not being charged interest on the erroneous item. Yeah, that you're not getting penalties and errors that are going onto it over and over and over again. We'll check out this one. This is a link that I have on your notes, anyways. This Legal Shield. That one looked like a pretty good one. So let's see what they kind of say about it. Number one, know your contract terms and your rates. So remember what you're being billed for and how you're being billed. Check the amount you owe each month and the details to make sure that everything is correct. You notice an error, call customer service right away. Don't wait to do that, and have a copy of your bill and your contract with you so you know what you've agreed to and how you're going to pay that off. Take note of the time you call and the name of the person you speak with. All right, that's a big thing. Okay, write down who you talk to. Okay, if you talk to Jimmy and Jimmy tells you this, write down Jimmy's name. Well, Jimmy told me, because you don't want to be in a situation where you call them back again. Well, so and so told me something. Well, no, we don't have any record of that. Well, you can say, well, Jimmy told me. You need to call Jimmy and ask him. So if they can't ask you, if they can't help you, then politely, that's the big key right there. As speak with the manager, someone who can help correct your mistake. When you get it corrected, ask for confirmation of the correction in writing. That way they can't come back and say, well, you can say, well, hey, I talked to you and you fixed it and you told me you were going to, but you didn't. You want something in writing. Right? Things in writing are a lot easier to fight legally when you get into that situation. And if you get your solution you want, if customer service cannot provide you with a satisfactory solution, or you continue to get the runaround, it says you can call your law firm. So hopefully we don't have to make it that far. So let's go back to our document here. Not really a whole lot on this one. So the things that we talked about, you have to know why it's wrong. And that's the biggest thing. If they're charging you extra, you need to know, hey, you're charging me extra. This is why I'm calling you. Don't just call and say there's something wrong with my bill. They might have a hard time figuring that part out. If you know exactly what's wrong, that's definitely going to help. So know why it's wrong. The next one, you're going to need some kind of proof or documentation of why it's wrong. They might ask for that. You might have to provide that. So I'm supposed to pay this. I charge $20 at Kroger. Here's my receipt, and you're charging me for $200. So I have my documentation as to why it's wrong. So the why aspect is a big part. Letter D, you need to know what their process is. Okay, it's not going to be done the way you want it done. It's not your company. It's their company. They have a way of going about it. They have policies and procedures in place to handle these type of things, and you have to do it their way. You can't do it the way you want to do it, and you can't skip steps. It has to be done the way they want it done, or else they can say, no, we're not going to deal with it, and they have the right to do that. Also, with some of this process, and we talked about this earlier, some of this is time sensitive. All right. So if you notice an issue on Monday, you should call on Monday. You shouldn't wait for 3 months down the road to call and say, oh, hey, by the way. So if you see an error, report the error. Some of that is time sensitive, that you have to get it done in a certain amount of time. And some of the process that you get involved with might be time sensitive. You have to do this in a certain amount of time. If you want to make an appeal, that has to be done in a certain amount of time. So understand what that process is and what that process looks like, and don't try and circumvent it or do things your way because you want to. It doesn't work like that. And I mentioned this before. Know what the appeal process is. If you get a ruling and you don't like the ruling, maybe you have the ability to make an appeal. So those can be in different scenarios. Usually that's in writing somehow. They'll have a committee review it, and then they can make their decision and go from there. After that, maybe you do have to get some legal advice and get a lawyer involved in the process. Now, I've never had to get a lawyer involved, so I don't know what that process looks like. But I have had to do some appeal where I've had to write letters and explain why I thought I was right and I was correct once, and the other time they didn't think I was. So it's just part of it. You might not get it the way you want it, but you have to do it their way. And that's probably the biggest thing to take away from this is know what their process is, know what their process looks like, and how it's going to work. And you have to abide by theirs and what they're going to do.